listening to the Uplevel Your Online Business Show, where wealth is empowering, purpose is crucial, and high vibes are non-negotiable. And now, here's your host, certified business coach and practical woo strategist, Sarah J. Loureiro.
Hey you guys, welcome back to another solo episode of the Uplevel Your Online Business Show with me, Sarah J. Loureiro, certified business coach and practical woo strategist for all of you lovely ladies who want to get fully booked out in your online businesses and create your first six-figure year. Okay, let's talk about empowering yourself to earn more money. This is one of the biggest things that I work with my clients on, and it's because so much of the time we tell ourselves, oh yeah, I want 10K months, or I want a six-figure year, or I want 20K months, or whatever it is for you. But then when you actually go and put that into practice, it's almost like something happens when you're in honey, right? You're moving so slowly and you don't really understand why. And usually the part of the problem is the fact that you're just not used to earning that much money. And you're especially not used to earning that much money with the thing that you love to do. And let me tell you, if you are, if you finally over one of these humps per se, it's new level is always a new devil, and it's always going to come back to you. This whole idea of, I'm unworthy, or how could I possibly create that much money? How can I possibly make more than my partner? How can I possibly make more than my dad? How can I possibly make more than, my friend who's worked so hard in school? And a lot of these different things that are going on in our heads can really affect us subconsciously in the way that we show up in our businesses. And so I'm going to talk to you today about 3 of the biggest ways that you can empower yourself to really get over those humps and push past all of that to really make the money that you want to make in your business that will allow you to create the impact that you want to create as well. And so the first tip that I have has to do with your energetic frequency around money. And for the most part, most of us are used to having a set amount of money that we earn per month. So this could have been the set amount of money that you worked in your 9-to-5 that you gained. It could be the combination of your 9-to-5 money and your partner's 9-to-5 money. It could be the money that your parents created. But most of us are very comfortable around a certain amount. Now, unfortunately, for some of us, this also means that if you were really poor as a child, your energetic frequency around money is going to be very comfortable at a very low amount. And so what ends up happening is every time that we go into higher amounts and gain higher amounts, it's almost as if we have a thermostat in our bodies for the amount of money that we're open to receive. And so what happens is that all of a sudden, you really want to make more money, and yes, you actually do it at one point in time, right? 1 month you hit a 10K month or whatever it is that you want to hit, but it feels really uncomfortable. It feels like the most uncomfortable thing ever because you're not used to it. And it's when you're not used to something and it's out of your comfort zone, our tendencies are to go right back into our comfort zone. And so what do I mean by this thermostat? Well, let's say, for example, you you would absolutely love to have a room that's room temperature, right? Because 25 degrees Celsius, that would be freaking amazing. You wouldn't have to wear a jacket inside. You could, your food wouldn't always be cold. You wouldn't be cold getting out of the shower. Yes, this is totally what you want. You want 25 degrees Celsius in your room, in your house at all times. However, you are so used to your thermostat being at 18 degrees. Okay. Even though 18 degrees is brutal and it's cold, and when you make your coffee, it's not really going to be that warm sitting on the counter for that long because it's going to cool down really quickly. This is your comfort level. You're comfortable with receiving less. And so what's going to happen is each and every time that you go and you readjust that thermostat to the 25 degrees again, you are so used to living life at 18 degrees Celsius. You have your mitts on, you have your sweater on. All of a sudden you become way too hot. All of a sudden things become way too nice for you. and you readjust it back down. You readjust it back down to those 18 degrees. Now, why do we do this to ourselves? Because it is what is comfortable, right? You just bought all these sweaters for your 18 degrees Celsius house, right? You're so used to it now. How could you possibly get to a place where things are so much better than everything that you have been used to? It might even feel too good to be true for you. And so this is what we all do once we've created massive wealth for ourselves, once we've hit the next income level. And this is why so many people have a problem with maintaining consistency within the next income level. They totally lose it on themselves. And it becomes really uncomfortable with carrying that amount of money. And so what ends up happening is the next month you just dip again. And tell me, have you ever experienced this in your business where you have a really big month and then the next month everything's really, really low? And it's because you're adjusting. You are subconsciously adjusting to that energetic frequency that you have around money, because that is what feels comfortable. The 3K a month feels comfortable, not the 5K. The 5K feels dangerous. And once you become aware of this pattern that is happening, that's when you can actively start to change it. And so the way that you can start to change this is to really journal around what it feels like to be that person who makes more. Journal out how many different ways you can spend that money, how many different ways you can invest that money, how many different ways you can use that money, and why it actually really, really is beneficial for you. And once you see yourself going back into those areas of self-sabotage, be aware of it and give yourself that mantra of how much you want to make. Push yourself towards those bigger amounts. One of the best things that you can do for your business in terms of your money goals is write down your money goals every single day. You are so much more likely to hit those goals when you are reminding yourself of what it is that you want to achieve every single day, rather than just kind of thinking that it might happen and, fidgeting with your goals and putting your goals down once you don't see a certain amount coming in, or once you don't see the evidence of certain amounts coming in. Just understanding that your activity in your business on a daily basis is so much more important than the outcomes that you're expecting from week to week. Because you can say that you want a 10K month and you want consistent 10K months, and you might make $0 the first 2 months, but then you might make $30,000 on the third month. Is that not the same as creating 10K months? Right? And so really starting to get very, very intentional about really pushing that envelope with yourself and catching yourself in that self-sabotage each and every time that you do it. Another really, really important thing that you can start to implement that will really help you is to go from have, do, be to be, do, have. And so what do I mean by this? Here's the thing. Most people in the world, okay, function off of, I need to have the thing so that I can do whatever it takes to become the person that I really want to become. And so let's give this an example with money. So I need to first have the clients before I can invest in my business to then become the person who is creating 10K months, or become the person who has quit their 9 to 5 and really taken their business full time. And what happens with that mentality is that we have it completely backwards. And that specific mentality will not get you to your goals, because it's not giving you an opportunity to become the person who does the things to have the things in return. Whereas if you reverse that mentality for yourself and you think about becoming the person who is already doing the things that you want to do, that will allow you to create the doing, and then it will allow you to have. And the have is really the last part of each and every one of these equations. Becoming that person first is so important for that embodiment piece, and that really ensures that you're actually going to get yourself into action, because having is a result of action, right? It doesn't come before action, it comes after. Because if you already have, then what's the point of doing the action in the first place? And so many of us get that wrong, because that's a place from which a lot of us were raised. It's a place of comfort. It's our comfort zone. But when we can actively reverse that and really think about be, do, have, that's when things really, really start to click. And so the way that this works for money is essentially empowering yourself before you do the actions that you can have the results that you want to have. If you think about the have first, that's not empowering at all. Well, I need to have the money, or I need to have the clients so that I can do the things that I want to do, so that I can create the business that I want to create. No, you need to create the business first, right? You need to empower yourself to become the person who's creating the business so you can do the things so you can get the results that you really want to get. And so when you do it this way, and when you really change that dynamic and change that script on yourself, you become much more empowered to actually go and do the activities, to do the things that you really want to do so that you can have the money that you really want to have. So that's how you can empower yourself, by kind of reversing that entire script in your life. You know, every morning when you wake up, journal around what it would feel like to be the person who has the amount of money that you have. And then ask yourself, what is that person doing differently that I'm not doing right now? Okay. What is that person who's already there doing differently? And then you're going to go and you're going to do those things that you can have the thing that you really want to have. So by really allowing yourself to become, by even journaling around these things, by being consistent with owning up to what it is that you want, can really go a long way for you to be able to create the activities that you need to create to get yourself to the next income level in your business. Understand that you are worthy of whatever it is that you want to create. Understand that you are worth it, that your business is worth it, that you are giving your clients and your community so much value that you deserve to be repaid tenfold with every single piece of activity that you deliver out there into your community for free. You're worthy of everything that you are dreaming of and everything that you're coming up with in your head in terms of what it is that you want to create and the impact that you wish to create in the world. And a lot of the time that impact needs to come with a really high income. And it is totally okay for you to do that. In fact, it's more than okay. You need that income. You deserve that income for all of the impact that you're going to create as well. And so that's another huge piece of this, is really owning and acknowledging the fact that you deserve this. You are so worthy of this. Even if you think it's too much money for you, well, then that's great. Give some of the money away to charity. That's perfect. Now, the more that you create, the more that you can give. The more that you can give to all the people who you really, really know need it in the world. And so that's another huge piece. And then the last piece to all of this, to really empower yourself to make more money, is to get the help where you need it. And so this goes back to the have do be versus the be do have. And if you want to be making more money in your business, you also want to be spending more money in your business on things that are relevant to you growing, on things that are relevant to your sustainability. So whether that's a business coach, whether that's another virtual assistant, whether that is another course, be comfortable, or start to get more comfortable with spending money. And the more that you spend, and especially at the higher rates, the more potential you have to receive even more coming back in. And so the way that that works is basically the more you invest, or the greater your investments, the higher your potential for return. It's also riskier, yes, but at the same time, you are trying to empower yourself here. You are not trying to go back into fear and think about all of the terrible things that can happen. In fact, when you empower yourself, what you're doing instead is you're thinking about all of the amazing things that are going to happen as a result of all your investments, because your success is inevitable, because you are intelligent enough to make amazing investments in your business that you will always know are going to pay off tenfold. If you go into it with that mentality, then your investments are always going to pay off for you, and they are always going to pay off for you in ways that maybe you didn't previously think possible, but because you're coming into this from a place of empowerment, it's so much better for your success versus coming into things from a place of fear, coming into things from a place of, well, I can't possibly invest anymore in my business. What if all of these different things happen, right? Or I'll only invest in my business when I have, right? Remember the have, do, be versus the be, do, have. That keeps you in a place of fear. That keeps you in a place where you are stuck. That keeps you in a place where you're not growing. You're not empowering yourself. That's not empowering at all. That feels scarce. That sucks. It's not a good feeling at all. But when you can step into that feeling of being first, when you can step into that feeling of, I am really excited to invest in this next thing that I know that it's going to help me to make more money, that's when you can become empowered by it. That's when you become motivated. That's when you become excited. And the more that you can hold on to that motivation, that excited feeling, the more that you can continue with your own motivation, and the less that you're going to creep up into feelings of scarcity and negative spirals that so many of us have when we're like, oh my goodness, things aren't working. Even when things don't look like they're working, they're still working. And if you can continue to make yourself uncomfortable and to really make decisions based from a place of empowerment, based on a place of, it's totally healthy for me to earn more. It's 100% necessary for me to earn more in my business to have a greater impact in the world. When you make decisions from that place, your entire business just becomes so much more empowering. And when your entire business becomes that much more empowering, that's when the money comes in. That's when it becomes fun. When you let go of the outcomes, when you let go of all of the what ifs, and you just start to be, you just start to focus on your activities. So that is how you can empower yourself. You can get out of the rut. You can get out of the money mindset scarcity that so many entrepreneurs are in, especially in the beginning stages of their business. That is how you can really get out of that and get into a place of empowerment so you can really push yourself to make the money that maybe you've never made before, right? Really push yourself into putting that thermostat at that perfect 25 degrees Celsius. Really push your energetic frequency so that you feel more comfortable with holding $10,000 in your hands every single month. And you will find that it becomes easier and easier, and it becomes a way of life for you. It becomes completely natural for you to be gaining that much money over and over again. I hope that this helped you. If you loved the contents of this episode, please share on our social media channels, on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on YouTube. It would mean the world to us if you were to even send a little note. So you can always find me on Instagram at Sarah J. Loureiro. Sarah was without an H. Loureiro is Loureiro. I'd love to hear what you think about this episode. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll catch you next time. Hey, did you like or love this episode? If so, I would so appreciate it if you left a review and rated this episode on iTunes. It would literally mean so much to me. And if you have Instagram and are all up in your Instagram stories like I am, I would love it if you would share this episode with your beautiful followers so they can also get all of the high vibes, all of the free information that I'm giving you here. Thank you so, so much.
Thanks for listening to the Uplevel Your Online Business Show. If you enjoy our show and would like the show notes and free goodies about how to grow your online coaching business, head over to sarahjloureiro.com for more information. We hope you'll tune in next time.